Hello, all you Tabletop Baseball Plus subscribers, viewers, supporters, all the above. Hope all of you are having lots of fun rolling games. This is Tenacious Earl, and I'm going to do a retrospective here on the group stages of the 2017-2018 Crazy Premier League Cup. I've finished the group stages. That's four groups. Uh, uh, Two games in each group for each stage. So that's 8 times 5 for five of them. So 40 games we played here at Basakar. And, looking forward to the knockouts. But we're going to go through um, what's happened so far and give you a look at what the rest of this project looks like. So hit like here on the video if you have liked this Premier League Cup. This is, again, trying to sort of condense a 38 game schedule from the Premier League into something that may translate into something suitable. Obviously, no competition that's been shrunk is going to be perfect, but we're trying. So we're going to go with Group A first. And as you can see right off the bat, Newcastle got a great win over Southampton, and then West Ham beat Crystal Palace. Then in the second week, when Newcastle started taking downward spirals, West Ham took an early lead. Tottenham then beat Southampton, which asserted them, who would have been the group favorites to begin with, Tottenham Hotspur. And then a big clash of the Titans there between the Spurs and the Hammers, and Spurs come out on top 2-0, followed by Crystal Palace getting a win against Newcastle United. So Newcastle kind of like dropping down the table, but it was clear by that point that it was going to be Tottenham and West Ham. Actually, not too far away from each other as far as like neighbors in London. Two London clubs. This actually had three London clubs, one in the south of the country, and then the other Newcastle up at the very north. Finally, then you had Tottenham beating Crystal Palace. Tottenham then pretty much assuring that they were going to be top of the table. West Ham beating Southampton, but because they had lost to Tottenham, the Hammers were going to have to settle for second place. Tottenham got a draw against Newcastle in a meaningless final game, while Southampton did beat Crystal Palace. It could not bring them out of the bottom of the table. And as you can see here, these were the final standings: Tottenham, West Ham, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Southampton. With Group B, you had Manchester United and Liverpool both pretty much taking control right off the bat. The Red Devils beating Swansea right off the bat 1-0, and Brighton and Hove losing to the Reds. Then Liverpool actually were drawn by AFC Bournemouth, which was extremely helpful to them. Brighton and Hove got one on Swansea, which was a sign that the Swans were probably not going to be able to survive this group. Then Liverpool beat them up pretty good 4-0. A draw between United and Bournemouth. Bournemouth was hanging right in there, and they beat Brighton and Hove Albion. United actually got the better of Liverpool, so it was tight down at the end, but a loss to Brighton and Hove Albion by the Red Devils meant that Liverpool was going to beat Manchester United on goal differential. Swansea left to be the bottom of this Group B. Group C, a high-scoring affair right off the bat. Arsenal beating Huddersfield Town 4-3. Stoke City, the Potters, taking care of Leicester City. It looked like Leicester City was going to be left out early on. It took them a while to get going. They had the second week off as Arsenal and Stoke City drew. Manchester City started up in match week 2, and they beat Huddersfield Town. Of course, in the third week, Leicester City loses to Huddersfield Town again. So it looked like Huddersfield Town was going to be okay there. at that point. Manchester City rolling Arsenal, and that was just they're getting on the way. But then a strange thing happened week 4. Leicester City, the Foxes beat the Citizens 1-0. The blue side of Manchester crying there as the Foxes get right back into the thick of things. And Huddersfield Town getting another win against Stoke City. What did this mean? Well, this meant that Arsenal was in big trouble, and a win over Arsenal in that last week for Leicester City got them into a third place spot, and Manchester City beating Stoke left it that way. But Huddersfield Town gets second place in this group. That's a real stunner. Arsenal did not perform. They finished fourth, and Stoke City in the bottom. Finally, Group D. Um, it was funny for right off the bat. Watford had a really solid performance against West Brom. Not the greatest of it, but good enough. And that was kind of the theme for Watford, just squeaking by in each of their games. And then you had Chelsea uh, drawing with Everton. Neither of those teams, the Chelsea you would suspect would be the favorite in this group, but they had trouble along the way. Now they did beat West Brom, as just about everybody did. Watford beat Burnley 2-1, again squeaking it out. Now they drew Chelsea, Burnley did, but they struggled for points as well. Everton and West Brom drew, so there's 1 point for the Baggies. And then you had Everton defeating Burnley, Chelsea drawing Watford. That was the two top teams right there, and Chelsea really needed to beat Watford there in order to move along and try and get up top, but they couldn't. So then it was left to Watford and Everton. Watford did defeat uh, the Toffees, and then Burnley and West Brom drew, and so you ended up with Burnley avoiding that last place with that draw. They got a late goal, which helped them stay away from the bottom, because if they had lost to West Brom would have vaulted them in the table, and it would have been Burnley in the relegation scrap. But anyway, so this is how things stack up for the final standings. You're going to take your first place teams, Tottenham, Watford, Manchester City, Liverpool, uh, and when you go by points first, and then goal differential second, and then finally goals for. What that does is it puts Tottenham as 1 seed, Watford 2, Manchester City 3, and Liverpool 4. Then we've got a second place team for each group, and that'll be West Ham, Manchester United, the Blues, and Huddersfield Town. And again, same criteria: points, then goal differential, then goals for. We will do third place because 2 of the third place teams, the way I decided to do this was to have 10 teams make it into the knockouts. And so we have a third place group here. Bournemouth and Leicester City won out on goal differential. There's something not quite right about that. I'm going to have to take a look. Leicester City did. Everton and Newcastle United's numbers aren't quite right there, but it was Bournemouth and Leicester City. Trust me, I'm just noticing this now that there is some funny business there, but that is correct as far as those uh, the 2 teams. And finally, relegation. It doesn't really matter the order; they're all going to end up in the same place. These guys are all the last. I didn't show you the 4th place because they're out, and they're not going to have to face relegation. Stoke City, Southampton, West Brom, Swansea. They're all on the bottom. I'll talk about that a little bit more. But anybody who follows Premier League knows that you end up with a with 3 teams being relegated out of the Premier League. And what I'm going to simulate after everything is all done is the relegation playoff, or a relegation playoff, because you got 4 teams. We're only going to talk about 3 getting relegated here. But I will tell you something show you something neat about this in a minute. Actually, I might as well tell you now. Oh no, I'll wait. So these are the seedings. You're going to have buys for the first 6: Tottenham, Watford, Manchester City, Liverpool, West Ham, Manchester United, and then the final 4, which are the lower 2 of the um, second place teams and the 2 third place that make it will face off against each other. So, well, our first round is going. I'm doing the because I forgot to automate that there. But the first round is going to be Huddersfield Town facing Leicester City, and then Chelsea and Bournemouth, and everything will reseed. And so at the quarterfinals, you have the 6 teams that are automatically in there. And so Tottenham will face the lesser of the 2 teams that come out of the first round, and Watford will face the better of the 2. And then we'll just carry on with semifinals and finals. I think the first round is supposed to take place at Upton Park, which is where Aston Villa plays. I wanted to try and find um, neutral venues, and I don't quite remember what I decided for the quarterfinals. It might be 2 different stadiums at different ends of maybe Stadium of Light might be one, and I was gonna say maybe Craven Cottage, or it could be Villa Park again. I was trying to pick big stadiums that would host events like this, and then the semifinals and the finals will be at Wembley as well as the third place game. So now the relegation playoff. So in the table of 2017-2018, the 3 teams to be relegated were Swansea, Stoke City, West Bromwich Albion. 17, which is the team that just missed, was Southampton. So as far as the cup here goes, I'm pretty pleased with the fact that it's nailed the bottom 4 teams. Now we've got a couple interesting changes, and I should probably do a little bit more analysis of why certain things ended up. It's just the way it is when you do a cup, especially because your sample size is down to maybe 4 games, and it's not home and away. If you play a good team on the road and a bad team at home, you might be better off than a good team at home and a bad team on the road, if you know what I mean, because it's just the way it goes. It's why you don't really do that in uh, everybody plays every other team both at home and on the road. But we're doing a cup, and so that's why this is. It might have been better to do double round for each group. That would kind of smooth out some of the inequities. But anyway, so the relegation playoff, how that will eventually look is uh, everybody will play each other twice, just like I said I should have done with the groups. We are going to get a chance to do this because this does mean life or death for these teams. One team will survive out of this. The rest will, well, they did in real life go down to the championship, and in theory, they will in this too. But we'll see how this goes when I eventually get around to doing this. And so, if you recall, I said each match week was 8 games. So this is about a match week and a half of play just in this, and then the other one is about the same, maybe a little bit more. But that's fine. It'll be fun. I will say when you play with teams that are down at the bottom of the table, one of the things that's tough about the relegation playoff is the soccer is pretty rough. And I played a couple of games that were teams that just weren't performing. And, Watford was one of them. They performed, but their style of soccer isn't so great versus Everton. That was kind of tough. Anyway, so I just want to wrap up by saying I don't usually do this, but I've been playing a lot of these games. This is, as I said, 40 games plus 1 game where I made a mistake and replayed a game that I had played before because I wasn't paying it close enough attention. So it's a really good game, APBA Soccer. This is not a sales pitch. This is just for information. Or if you want to look at what they've got to offer, they've got many different types of leagues. I'm just doing this because I feel like it's the right thing to do. There is the link, apba.stores.yahoo.net. Um, have a look, see what you can find. You've got a few different European leagues. You got some, I think, World Cup. If you just buy the base game, they will send you a set of Champions League cards, the final four from the Champions League, UEFA Champions League from the year before, or maybe 2 years ago. So that's one positive of that, but you can also buy a number of different sets that are there. So maybe you want the domestic MLS set from the United States, or maybe you want Premier League like I've been doing here. But um, I would like to say I'm happy with this format of trying to condense a 38 game by 20 team season down into 40 games and then some knockouts. And we'll just see what happens when we play the knockout. Single elimination, winner takes all. We'll go to extra time, then penalties if we need to. That should be interesting if we have to go to penalties, because I've only had a couple in this season, and when we get down to penalties, we're just going to be going there. That's what everybody does. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to wrap it up for now. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Again, hit the like if you enjoyed this retrospective. Um, again, I think this is a really interesting way to simulate a season and get to know the teams. You get to know quite a few of the players. And again, just have fun rolling your dice. And we'll see you again soon here on Tabletop Baseball Plus.